is verse 38. And a mixed multitude went up also with them.
Yeah. Now that's them coming out of Egypt. Okay? Now it was a mixed multitude that came out of Egypt. Now they would try to say, oh, well, what about the mixed multitude that came out of Egypt? Right? You could have had some Ethiopians in there. You could have had some Egyptians in there. Okay? Because Egypt was a powerful nation at that time. Israelites was in captivity, and you had other nations there in captivity. You could have had Ethiopians, and you could have had actual Egyptians in that multitude. You know, I ain't researched it all, but I have researched, I have looked at some things to where it said Egyptian. Now what I'm saying is, it could have been Ethiopians and other nations in there too, but it was a mixed multitude. Okay? Now, read that again.
This is Exodus chapter 12, verse 38. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks, and herds. No, it's like
herds.
Herds.
Yep.
Even very much cattle.
Now, give me Nehemiah 13 and 3. And let's see what happened to that mixed multitude. Let's find out what happened to the mixed multitude, man. Nehemiah 13 and 3. Precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. You see? You got to link these scriptures up and straighten them out to where you will understand what the Most High is saying through who? Moses. Okay? All right. So Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 3. Let's see what the mixed multitude did. Because this is dealing with the Passover. Let's see if the mixed multitude participated in the Passover. Let's find out.
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13 and verse 3. Now it came to pass, when they had heard the law, that they separated from Israel.
Go ahead.
All the mixed multitude.
That knocked the wind out of them, didn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with that scripture. Nothing. Read it again, bro.
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13 and verse 3. Now it came to pass, when they had heard the law, that they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude.
Out of there. So was it a mixed multitude participating in the Passover? Nope. So go back over there to Exodus, right? Where we was, 12 and 38.
This is Exodus chapter 12, verse 38. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks, and herds, even very much cattle. Verse 39.
And when that mixed multitude heard the law, what they do? Separate. Out of there. Okay? So when people say, oh, it was a mixed multitude that came up out of Egypt, when they heard that law, it was time to go. They weren't part of the covenant. Okay? Now, where we at? Before I get to jumping around. Okay, that's verse 38.
That was verse 38.
All right, now what I want you to do is jump down to verse 45.
All right.
The reason why I banged out that reason why I hit that mixed multitude, because that's what them fake Christians and you got Israelites that, you know what I'm saying, they call themselves learned. I say, what about the mixed multitude? That's why I went on and went through that. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, bro.
It's Exodus chapter 12, verse 45. A foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof.
So let's find out what the foreigner is and a hired servant. Let's find out what the foreigner means. Now in the kingdom of heaven, you're going to have the other nations participate in the Passover. Why? Because that's going to be our law. Okay? They're going to have to be circumcised. They're going to have to get it right. We're going to enforce our laws. They ain't going to be uncircumcised. And they're going to be worshiping our power. Okay? If not, we're going to beat it into them. Bottom line. Okay? But Israel got to get it right first. Okay? What we got there?
Strong's H, 8453, and the pronunciation is Toshab.
Alright. And it means what?
Sojourner.
Sojourner or stranger.
Right.
Now, I'm going to hit you with something. Was Israelites calling themselves Toshab? Yes, they was. Because when you go into it, I'm going to show you. But that actual stranger, that's why you got to have that discernment, man. Because a heathen not supposed to be partakers in the Passover. But in the kingdom of heaven, it's gonna be certain procedures to where they're gonna have to take part in it because it's our law, it's our custom. And the statute, laws, and commandments is gonna be in the kingdom of heaven. So they gonna be partakers of it. Okay? When the Passover comes, you gonna take all your unleavened bread out of there, out of your house. It's gonna be a wrap for you. Okay? But the reason why I'm going through this is because some brothers know and some brothers don't know.
Right.
Sincere brothers. You know? But that's why I'm going over through this. These fake Christians try to use these scriptures to trip you up. Okay? But it's key that you understand this, man. And you got to remember, YouTube ain't going to be up here forever.
Right.
But you got to be ready, man. You know?
It's like there's a fake ass Christians and quick, man, to put a fucking curse on them, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the easiest way for a Christian pastor just to lie to Jake in the church, all he's going to say is the laws were all done away with.
Yeah, they'll say that too. But if you got a Jake that's questioning the question, he'll probably go to scriptures like this. He say, well, what about the strangers? What about the mixed multitude? You know what I'm saying? And if Jake unlearned and he not studied, he'll get, you know what I'm saying, tripped up. Okay? But what we finna look up, we was in verse 45.
We looked up the word stranger, and then there was another word.
In verse 45, 12 and 45.
Then you said the word servant.
No. What for foreigner?
Yeah, we looked up foreigner.
Okay. And it's what? Look it up again for me. It's sojourner.
Sojourner, stranger.
Alright. Sojourner or stranger. Go to the root of it and see what you got. To dwell. You know, when you go to the root, let me see what you got. YAHAWAH. YAHAWAH. He's saying YAHAWAH. He's saying YAHAWAH, but it's YAHAWAH. Okay? What Strong's is it?
It's Strong's Hebrew 3427.
Strong's Hebrew
3427.
and it means to what? Dwell? What does it mean?
To dwell,
Yeah.
remain, sit, abide.
Yeah. The key word is dwell. Okay? Key word is dwell. So read verse 45 again.
This is Exodus chapter 12, verse 45. A foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof.
Yeah, a dweller. So if somebody that's a dweller that's not of the nation of Israel, they ain't supposed to deal. Okay? Continue on.
So verse 46. in one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth out of the flesh abroad, out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof.
Yeah, so they're dealing with the Passover. Okay? That's what they're dealing with. But I just wanted to bring out them words and to let you see. Now, you got to remember, you got Gar, you also got Goyim. You also got that too, or Gawayim. You also got that too. You got Gawayim, you got Gar, you got Nakar, and you got Tasab. I think that's what it is. It said it was Tasab. Dealing with that foreigner, Tasab. Verse 45. Yeah, let him.
Strong's H 8453. SHAM.
Okay, so you got that, right? So now, what we finna do, we finna go to King. We finna go to 1 Kings, the 14th chapter. I mean, no, 1 Kings, the 17th chapter, in the first verse. Now, we finna deal with Elijah. No, 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 1.
This is 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 1. And Elijah, the Tishbite, who was of the inheritance of...
No. Slow down. The inhabitants.
Salaki. This is 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 1. And Elijah, the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Galilee, said unto
Ahab. Yeah.
Ahab, as YAHAWASHI, power of Israel, liveth, before whom I stand.
Right. That's all on that particular verse.
A little bit more.
Go ahead.
There shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word.
All right. So we finna look up the word inhabitant. So Elijah the Tishbite, which was an Israelite, okay, which he was dwelling in the land of Galilee. Now Galilee, when you look at the map dealing with the 12 tribes, when they was in their land, Galilee is in the northern part of where Gad inheritance was. So he was in the land of Gad. Okay? That's where he was at. He was in the northern part of the land of Gad. Now when you look at a 12, like I said, when you look at a 12 tribe map to where their inheritance was, Galilee is in the northern part of Gad land. Okay? Now, what we got there? What the word inhabitant mean?
The word inhabitant is Toshab. Strong's Hebrew 8453.
So, Toshab can deal with a heathen or it can deal with an Israelite. You just got to know which when you go into it, it deals with the word dwell. So an Israelite can dwell there, okay? And he can be a Toshab. Also, when you go into it, when you go into other concordance, it deals with a settler, okay? So Israelites was known as settlers too, which is goes into the word Tasab, okay? Meaning to dwell to, or settler, or sojourner. And that's what it means, okay? So you gotta have understanding to be able to discern. You know what I'm saying? So was Elijah the Tishbite a heathen? Nah. He was dwelling in the land of what? Galilee, which was in the land of Gad. It was in the northern part of Gad. Okay? Now, I showed you that to show you that you got to know through the Spirit when it's talking about an Israelite and when it's talking about a heathen, man. Mercy only going to the nation of Israel. That's it, bottom line. Okay? Salvation is only going to the nation of Israel. That's it, bottom line. Okay? Now, what you got there, bro? You got something?
Oh, just a definition.
Okay, bring out the definition.
It's a sojourner or stranger.
See? So, dealing with that word, it mentions in dealing with the word inhabitant, it mentions stranger, sojourner, and it also mentions dwell, to dwell. And then on top of that, like I said, when you go into other references, it also mentions settler, which I'm gonna put one of the references up so you can see it right now. Okay. Now, yeah, dweller goes to when you go all the way to the root of it. Okay, to abide, sit. So like I said, I'm putting it up. It's up. It was up so you can see it. What I'm talking about. Okay, when it's pertaining to Israel. Okay. Now, when you go back to what Exodus, the 12th chapter, in the 45th verse, it mentioned a foreigner there, and it also mentioned that word there, somebody that dwelling. So that's where the discernment come in there. If he's not an Israelite, then he's not supposed to be partaking in that. But in the kingdom of heaven they are. But just like I showed you with the mixed multitude, they separate. You see? Now, what I want you to jump from there. Read that one more time. 1 Kings 17 and 1.
This is 1 Kings chapter 17 verse 1. And Elijah,
Hey, give me Psalms 32 and 12.
the Tishbite, who was the inhabitants of Galilee, said unto Ahab, as YAHAWAH SHAM YAHAWASHI, power of Israel, liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word.
Okay, so now, what I want is Psalms 39 and verse 12. Now this dealing with David. Now matter of fact, you can read a little bit of the top. Psalms 39 and 12. Little bit of the top, and then we're going to jump down to verse 12. Go ahead. Now this is Psalms of David.
This is the book of Psalm, chapter 39, verse 12. Hear my prayer, O Lord, and give ear unto my cry. Hold not thy peace at my tears, for I am a stranger with thee.
See? That was the word strangers. Okay, matter of fact, if you want to look that word up, one of you brothers want to look that word up, you can continue to read.
And a sojourner as all my fathers were.
See? So, jump back up to the first verse. You reading verse 12. Jump back up to the first verse.
This is the book of Psalm, chapter 39, in verse 1. I said, I will take heed to my ways, that I sin not with my tongue. I will keep my mouth with a bridle, while the wicked is before me.
So what when you understand what David is saying, David recognized that he sinned. So he didn't want to say nothing stupid, you know what I'm saying, to go off. So he didn't know if he would pray to the Most High or keep his mouth closed. Because he recognized he had sinned. He's like, man, I don't want to say nothing to piss the Most High off even more. So what he was doing was he just started praying to the Most High. But in the beginning, he was like shook, because he didn't know if he wanted to pray to the Most High and not say nothing to him, because he had recognized his sin, how he had went off. Okay? But that's what he's saying right there in the beginning. Go ahead.
1
verse 2. I was dumb with silence. I held my peace, even from good, and my sorrow was stirred.
See? So jump down to verse 12. So I'm letting you know this David right here. Okay? We know he ain't no heathen. Okay? Go ahead.
This is verse 12. Hear my prayer, O YAHAWASHI, and give ear unto my cry. Hold not thy peace at my tears. For I am a stranger with thee, and a sojourner as all my fathers were.
So let's look up that word stranger and sojourner. Let's check it out.
That stranger goes back to Strong's H1616. Go on.
Uh-oh. Okay? So David used that word. He said, all my father's work. Okay? And what's sojourner? What's sojourner?
It's a newcomer lacking inheritance rights.
That's guard, ain't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's stranger, that's stranger. You said sojourner.
Yeah. He looked up the word stranger in there, and that was guard.
Okay.
Okay, now we're looking up the word sojourner.
Goes back to that sojourner, stranger.
What's the Hebrew word?
To show.
See? That's the same one. That's the same one that when you read 1 Kings, the 17th chapter, and you look at that word, the word inhabitants, that's the same word there. Okay? So was Israel, now this David saying this. He said, all my fathers was it Tasab? Tasab, which means dwellers, or settlers, or sojourners. Okay? That's what they're dealing with. So you got to know when they're talking about Israelites and when it's not. Because Israelite can be a settler, Israelites can be a sojourner, Israelites can be a dweller. That don't mean they nationality change. You know what I'm saying? They can dwell somewhere. They're like we over here as a nation of people. That don't mean our nationality change. You see? You know? But that's what I wanted to bring out of there, to show you. Okay? Now, we finna read that one more time, that particular verse, and we finna jump. Back to, we finna jump to Genesis 9 and 1.
Okay, this is the book of Psalm.
19 and 1. Like, go ahead.
This is the book of Psalm, chapter 39 and 12. Hear my prayer, O YAHAWASHI, and give ear unto my cry. Hold not thy peace at my tears, for I am a stranger with thee, and a sojourner as all my fathers were.
See? So there you go. So now you understand it, because we looked at the word. So you had to go, if you open up with the video right here, what we talking right now, you have to go back and look at the video, the other parts before you open up this one. Right. Because we didn't look up these words and now we explain it. Okay? Now, let's go to Genesis 19 and 1.
This is Genesis chapter 19, verse 1. And there came two angels to Sodom.
Uh-oh. Came two angels to where? Sodom.
Sodom.
Now we know heathens in there. Okay? And the heathen that was in there was them Canaanites. Okay? Which you know today as them South Africans. Okay? Go ahead.
At even. And Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face towards the ground.
That's 19 and 1.
Come.
All right, now we finna look up some words there. Read that one more time again.
This is Genesis chapter 19, verse 1. 1. And there came two angels to Sodom at even. And Lot sat in the gates of Sodom.
Let's see what the word "sat" means.
Strong's H 3427. YAHAWAH.
Let me see. Okay.
It's to dwell, remain, sit, abide, to sit down, sit down, to be set.
So what it is I just wanted to bring that out because you have to look up words, man. That's what I'm showing y'all. You have to look up words, man. And words mean different things. Okay? So that's why I wanted to bring that out. So words mean, words have meaning, man. So you have to look up words, man, when you going into these scriptures, man. So you won't get tripped up dealing with these people out here that don't have no understanding of scripture. Okay? Thinking they know something, thinking they on the level. Okay? But we got to understand the word "sat" right there. It means to dwell. Okay?